say that we're going to be doing a slow flow and meditation this morning. So I have my little setup behind me. I'll make sure that you all can see me when we get started, but the only prop that may be helpful for today is a blanket. If you don't have a blanket, a towel or a pillow will work, just something a little cushy that you can either sit on or you can place under a knee in order to kind of help with a little bit of the cushion, especially if you're like me and you're on hardwood. You should start by saying, please, please, please listen to your body. Do what you need to do in order to make sure you're safe, you're comfortable. If at any point you feel anything that is pinching, painful, tight, any sort of unusual feelings, and you'll know this in your own body much better than I will, please listen to your body, do what you need to do in order to make sure you're staying safe and healthy. This is a personal practice after all. Perhaps you can always pause the video and come back to it as you need to. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with a nice gentle seat on the floor, whatever this means to you. Crisscrossing the legs, maybe you're feeling a full lotus this morning, whatever it is, just sitting on the ground, starting to feel a connection to your space wherever you are today. Beginning to take a few big, deep breaths. The eyes can close or remain open, yogi's choice. Make them big sighs. Let's exhale out through the mouth this morning. Working to elongate these exhales. Beginning to let any distractions around you begin to fall away. And just starting to settle into this space. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice this morning, or maybe you'd like to set an intention for the whole week, feel free to do so at this time. Intentions can be physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, or some combination. Intentions are personal, although I always offer up the intention of just showing up, doing nothing more, doing nothing less than simply being in your space, whatever that means to you, whatever that looks like to you. Especially when we can't be together physically, as you're watching this online, it can feel weird to try and show up with physical distance, but that's okay. We're still here, we're still connected in this space, and you're always connected to your own practice. Wonderful. If the eyes have started to close, feel free to let them flutter open. Start to find some movement, rolling out through the shoulders, letting the neck drop from side to side, beginning to just check in with your body this morning. Maybe you are just getting up and doing this flow first thing. Maybe you've been up for a little while. But wherever you are, just taking a moment to see how your body feels today. Inviting a little movement through the chest and spine, wiggling into the toes, wiggling into the fingers. Just really starting to gently invite movement, whatever that looks like to you. This is time a little bit to explore in your own body, see how you're feeling before we get moving together. No judgment on what this time looks like for you. Maybe you are kind of rocking back and forth like I am. Maybe you're taking more of a cat-cow motion in the spine. Little circles in the hips. All are valid. All are options you can take. And there's so much more. Wonderful. We'll get going today with a nice little opening pranayama. Pranayama comes from the word prana, meaning life force or life energy, and it's about working to mindfully invite this life energy or oxygen, in a little more literal sense, into the body just through a mindful breathing technique. Today we'll use Braathens Breath. So to start, hands are going to come together like we're clapping. Thumbs are going to push in between our chest here, kind of finding our middle center bone or solar plex right there. Inhaling to find length. Exhaling as you push the hands out, round out through the upper spine, bring chin to chest. Let the hands come as long forward as they can. With a big inhale, arms open up wide, arch the chest forward. Gaze can look up towards the ceiling. Exhale as we bring hands together, round through the chest. Bring the chin down. Inhale, this time pull in towards center, finding the length in the spine, sitting up nice and straight, returning to a neutral spine. Exhale, round it out, push the hands forward, chin to chest. Inhale, open up wide. Exhale, round it out. Inhale, pull the chin in toward, or pull the hands in towards the chest, sit up nice and tall. Take 3 more rounds on your own breath. Feel free to peek at me as much as you need. Exhaling as we push out. Inhaling, open up wide. Exhale. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, push it out. Inhale, open up wide, arching through the back. Imagining your arms are wings and you spread them nice and wide. Exhale. Bring it together. Inhale, nice and long. One last round. Exhale, push it out. Inhale, open up wide. Exhale. Bring hands together, chin to chest. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Wonderful. Bring the right hand down towards the ground. Inhale, left hand up high, reach up and over. Finding a nice side bend, rooting down through the left hip, pulling the left rib cage up high, really reaching through the fingertips. Exhale, release towards center. Inhale, right hand up high as we reach up and over. Big breath, really try to expand out through the side rib. Coming back in towards center. Wonderful. Bring the hands onto the shoulders. Take some nice big shoulder rolls. Feel free to round through the back and arch through the back as much as it feels good to you, or remaining in a neutral spine, yogi's choice. Wonderful. When you're ready, switching directions. If you'd like a little bit more movement this morning, you can always drop the hands from the shoulders and take bigger circles. But we're starting out small. It's a Monday morning. Take one more big breath here. And exhale, rain the hands down towards the ground. Wonderful. Let's get a little bit more movement into the hips now. Let the legs come out long in front of you. This is where a blanket or pillow might become helpful if it wasn't already earlier, by placing it underneath the hips. Sitting up nice and tall, flexing the toes towards the face, letting the legs be straight. You can also always put your blanket or pillow underneath your knees if that's more where you need it today. With a big inhale in, let both hands reach high towards the sky. Exhale, nice straight spine. Lead with the chest, lead with the heart. As we rain the hands down, bending into the elbows, let the fingers rest. It's okay, we're not necessarily reaching towards our toes, just reaching for a nice stretch in the hamstrings and maybe into the calves. Take some big breaths. Maintaining engagement by flexing the toes towards the face. Keeping a nice straight spine, imagining that there's a string all the way from the hips through the crown of your head, and you can pull the string up, sitting up nice and tall to maintain a nice straight spine when we have straight legs. One more big breath here. Inhale, really find length. Exhale, bend into the knees. Allow the chest to rest on the thighs. Hands can now come forward onto the feet if they didn't reach there earlier. And let yourself hang out here. Big belly breaths, feeling your chest and belly expand against your thighs. Remembering you have no other responsibilities in this time than to simply be here. Wonderful. When you're ready, use the hands to walk up the legs as we start to roll back towards center, extending the left leg, pulling right leg in towards center so that the palm of the foot comes on the inside of the thigh. Front leg is still forward. Wonderful. When you're ready, once again, both hands reach high towards the sky. Really reach up through the fingertips. Exhale, rain it down as we flex the toes towards the face. Nice straight spine. Relax the hands down. Hands aren't helping you here. We're just maintaining some nice engagement through the leg by flexing toes towards the face and using the straight spine to get a nice little stretch through the hamstrings. Noticing how doing one leg isolation may feel a little bit different than both legs, and that's okay. I personally find I can go a little bit farther, particularly on my left side. That tends to be my looser side. And it's all right. Our bodies are not symmetrical, and that's okay. Wonderful. When you're ready, slowly walk your way up towards center and let the left leg come out wide. Maintaining toes flexed towards the face. With a big inhale in, let the right hand reach up high. Left leg comes on the inside of the thigh. Find length in the spine as we slowly guide the left hand on the inside of the thigh, reaching fingertips up and over. If this top hand doesn't quite feel comfortable, relax it down, maybe placing it on the thigh for a little bit more support. We're really working to keep the chest nice and open towards the front. Engage through the belly. Work a little bit into those obliques to help hold you up in this posture. Hands are just going to chill. If hand up and over still feels good to you, remember pushing up through the rib cage to maintain some nice engagement. but being cautious not to drop our head. Instead, let's pull it up, keep it in line with the spine. Maybe gaze reach up towards the ceiling. Wonderful. With a big inhale in, come back in towards center. Gaze is going to be straightforward. Leg will still be out in kind of this 45-degree angle. Inside foot is going to simply be resting on the thigh as before. Inhale to find length. Slowly walk yourself forward. This is important to maintain engagement through both hips. We want to keep the back hip on the ground. It has this tendency to lift up as we start to lower down into this posture. But let the hands come down. You can either remain high on the fingertips, flat on the palms, maybe fists feel a little bit more comfortable to you, or finally, if you're really feeling it, and you can come down onto forearms, that's always an option for you. But we're trying to maintain, once again, this leading with the heart idea of a nice straight spine. Although my frame is a little short, my toes over here are nice and flexed towards my face, maintaining that engagement. My knees and toes are pointed towards the ceiling. And this back hip, I can always bring my left hand to the left hip to make sure that it's remaining grounded in this posture. Wonderful. When you're ready, slowly walk up towards center. Turn to look over the bent leg. And here, as before, we'll find length in the spine, lead with the heart, head in line with the spine as we slowly walk over the bent leg. Once again, options with the hands, flat on the ground, up on the fingertips, fists coming onto forearms, whatever feels best to you. Find your gentle engagement. Extended leg. We don't want to let it go lazy. Instead, keep the toes flexed towards the face. Knees and toes are pointed towards the ceiling. There's this tendency to start to roll up onto the hip. Instead, we want to pull it back down. Keep left hip grounded. Just finding a little opening in the hips. I kind of feel this on my inner thigh. I know some people may feel it on their outer thigh or continue to feel it into the hamstrings. I've even heard of some people feeling it in the hip flexors of their right leg. Wherever you are, we're trying to find a nice stretch, but never to the point of pain. Wonderful. When you're ready, coming back up towards center. Extend the right leg, pull the left leg in towards center, shake it out. Adjust as you need to. Maybe your blanket is moved a little bit. Maybe you need to find a little bit different spot on a pillow, whatever it may be. But this time we'll pull the left leg in towards center. My right leg is still straight forward, but left leg is going to rest on the inside of my thigh. Big inhale in as we reach the fingertips up high. Exhale, rain it down. Lead with the heart. Keep toes flexed towards the face. Keep the knee and toes nice in line. Always the same options with your hands as before. Taking some big, deep breaths in this space. Just enjoying the sensation of a stretch this morning. Remembering you have no other responsibilities than to simply be here. Wonderful. When you're ready, walk it up towards center. Allow the leg to reach out nice and long towards the side. Right hand comes on the inside of the thigh. Left hand reaches up high towards the sky. Thread the leg along. Keep the toes flexed towards the face. knee up towards the ceiling. Once again, if this top hand feels uncomfortable, relax it down, but we're trying to maintain engagement by pulling up through the chest, or shining the chest forward and pulling up through the ribs, remaining grounded through both hips. Gaze can reach up towards the ceiling if this feels more comfortable. If this inner leg starts to, or inner hand starts to feel uncomfortable on the inner thigh / inner leg, relax it down. Taking 3 more big breaths in this space. Wonderful. Coming back up towards center. Leg is still out nice and long. Keep the toes flexed towards the face. I know I sound a bit like a broken record, but that's because, at least personally, that's the thing I find starts to get the laziest in this posture. So as much as it's a reminder for you, it's also a reminder for myself. Big inhale in as we reach both hands forward. Exhale, rain it down, or maybe you like walking forward. Yogi's choice. Hands can find wherever feels comfortable to you. This is a nice inner thigh stretch for me personally. I get a little bit of activation into the hamstrings, but nice little reminder, take the right hand to the right hip. Remain grounded. You can walk the hand to the knees, make sure that it's pointed up towards the sky. Check in with the toes. I started to go a little limp there. But we want to maintain engagement in this extended leg. One more big breath in this space. When you're ready, walk it up towards center. Turn so that the chest and bent knee are in the same directional alignment, so they're both going to face in the same direction. Check in, make sure we're remaining grounded through the extended leg and into that hip. Knees and toes pointed towards the same direction. Find length in the spine. Either walk it out or rain it down. Yogi's choice on how you get there. Let's slowly start to bend over the extended leg, keeping nice, strong, straight spine. Getting some nice stretches into the legs, especially if we're first waking up in the morning and even sleeping in awkward positions. I know I curl up like a little ball while I'm sleeping, so it's nice to get a stretch into the legs, let my legs go long for a change. Take 2 more big breaths in this space. Wonderful. When you're ready, walk it back up towards center. Bend in to our extended leg, bring it in towards center, and let the palms of the feet come to kiss. Sitting up nice and tall, finding our butterfly posture. If you have a pillow underneath the hips, it can remain there. If you happen to have any other pillows, you can always place them underneath the knees in future classes for butterfly. But today we're trying to maintain a little bit more engagement into the legs, just wake up the body a little bit more. But if the pillows feel better to you, feel free to do them at any time. Inhale to find length as you slowly come forward. And give a little love back into your body by massaging through the arches of the feet, maybe massaging into the toes, ankles, maybe working up into the thighs, or into the calves and then the thighs. Just give a little love back to the body. Give a little bit of comfort. Our bodies do so much for us. It's important to give a little love back. And you're certainly doing that by being here this morning, but maybe we can give a little extra love on a Monday morning. Take one more big breath wherever you are. Oh, wonderful. When you're ready, coming back up towards center. Few options for you on our next little pose. You can either extend one leg and cross the opposite leg over opposite knee. If this is enough engagement for you to get a stretch through the outer hip, remain here. Maybe you bow towards the front knee, or maybe invite a gentle twist into the spine, either open or closed, whatever feels more best to you, or feels best to you. There we go. If you'd like a little bit more engagement, perhaps we pull the opposite heel, or the extended heel, towards opposite hip by kind of crossing the legs. So my right leg is on top and I have my right foot totally grounded onto the floor. My left leg is bent and pulling towards the right hip. Now I've started to pull up so that I'm resting more on my left hip, and there's this big gap here. So I'm going to push the hip back down, sit up nice and tall. Maybe this is where you need to be today. If you'd like just a little bit more engagement, maybe this isn't quite doing it for you. Another option for kind of a similar pose but a little bit different is taking the top leg, releasing it from the outside of the, for me this is releasing the right leg from the outside of the left leg. I'm going to let my left leg come parallel with my body. So I'm using the wall as a reference. I'm coming parallel with the wall behind me, and then I'm going to work to stack the right leg on top. Also maintaining this nice parallel alignment with the wall behind me. If this isn't fully comfortable, you can always pull up through the right knee, maybe hold on to the right knee, or take one of the previous variations that I showed you just a moment ago. Find what feels good to you. If you start to feel a lot of pinching, especially for me, I feel this in my right hip. If you start to feel a lot of pinching or pain, numbness in your legs anywhere, let's gently back down. Let's go to one of the previous variations. Find what feels good to you. Find the engagement that feels best to you. But for me personally, in this posture, just a little forward motion is enough for me to get a stretch into that outer hip. I'm resting my forearms on my legs. If this doesn't quite feel comfortable, maybe it doesn't feel comfortable to have your forearm on your foot or ankle, hands can come on the ground. If this isn't quite comfortable in your wrists, let's go to fists. Yogi's choice, whatever variation feels best to you. We'll remain here for 4 more big breaths. One more big breath in. Exhale out through the mouth. Wonderful. Slowly unbind whatever posture you're in. Coming back in to both legs out long. Nice little neutral posture. Shake out through the legs. Check in with yourself. How do you feel? Was that a little bit too much? Was it just right? Take a note on that as we start to move towards the other side. Perhaps right leg is extended out long, left leg crosses over. Wonderful option. Some days this is exactly where you need to be, and today might be that day for you. And that's okay. Maybe today is a little bit more of a bind as we pull the right leg in towards the left hip, working to have the left foot on the ground, right foot hugged in towards left hip, and remaining grounded through both hips. There's a lot of temptation to pull up, especially to get our left foot grounded fully. So instead, let the left foot come up off of the floor as we push down through the hips. This left foot coming onto the mat will come in time, and it's okay to not be there, especially first thing in the morning. And final variation, if it felt good to you do before, or maybe this is more the engagement you need on this side, having both shins be parallel, stacked on top of each other, knee on top of foot and foot on top of knee. I'm using the wall as my reference for nice parallel shins. Once again, you can always hold on to the top knee to relax out of this posture just a little bit, or take one of the previous variations if you'd like a twist in one of the previous variations, feel free to invite it. If a forward fold is where you get this engagement in the outer hip on this side, feel free to invite it. But most importantly, find what feels good to you. Take 2 more big breaths in this space, wherever you are. Wonderful. We'll take a few moments to start to settle in towards our final little meditation for the morning. Slowly unbinding whatever pose you're in, and then take however long you need to start to find a gentle seated posture with your back supported. So maybe you lie on the ground and take a seated posture in the legs, or maybe have the legs out long. I have a wall behind me, so I'm going to take a seated posture by just letting myself surrender into this wall, or you can surrender into the floor. Yogi's choice, whatever is currently available to you. We don't need to try and change our current situation to fit what we think might be best, but rather use what we have and make the best of it. So find your supported posture, maybe on the floor, back supported, sitting on the ground, yogi's choice. One is not better than the other. And start to take some big or deep breaths. Adjust the body as you need to. Maybe your hair's in a ponytail and you need to let it down so that you can gently rest your head down wherever it needs to be. Big inhale as we roll the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, let the shoulder blades roll down the spine as we open up through the chest. Hands can fall wherever feels most comfortable to you. Find the position in your legs that brings you the most comfort. Take 2 more big breaths by inhaling in through the nose. Big sighs out through the mouth. Wonderful. Today's final little meditation will be focusing on where we feel our breath. We often tell students, and in yoga classes you'll hear, to bring your attention to your breath, to notice the sensation of the inhale and the exhale. But this time we're going to work to enjoy where we feel our breath this morning. Where does our attention go when we bring it to the breath? And we'll invite a little bit of physical touch as we do this. Taking a few moments. Now breathing in and out through the nose, or continuing to breathe in and out through the mouth, whichever feels best to you. Starting to take note of where you're breathing. Maybe you feel your breath in your chest, in your heart space, or maybe in your collarbone. Maybe you feel your breath down in your ribs and diaphragm. Maybe you feel your breath in your belly. Maybe your breath is in your throat, or you feel it more in your face and nose. Maybe you feel your breath in your arms and your shoulders. Wherever it is that you feel your breath today, allowing your hands and your fingertips to gently start to touch where you feel your breath. Feel this physical connection of really bringing your physical attention to your breath. And feel free to move your hands as much as you need to enjoy your breath, to enjoy where you are today. Noticing how when we bring our attention inward, our breath may travel, and that's okay. All we're working on right now is to be here in this moment and to enjoy the sensation of your breath and how it feels for you today. Take a few more moments in this space, and I'll call you out when time is ready. Once again, moving the hands as much as you need to enjoy the sensation of your breath. Or if this meditation does not serve you today, Well, gently releasing it as we return back to the natural breath and enjoy bringing our practice in, perhaps returning to an intention you set at the beginning of class. And I'll call you out when time is ready. When you're ready, if you've maintained this meditation of bringing physical touch awareness to your breath, gently allowing it to fall away, hands can rest wherever feels comfortable. Taking a few more deep breaths in this space. Beginning to invite movement back into your body by wiggling through toes, wiggling through the fingers. If you're lying down, perhaps you make your way to a seated posture in whatever way feels best for you to get there. If you're already seated, bringing your attention to your physical body, working to feel the weight of your body on the ground, to feel the ribs expand and chest expand as we breathe. Eyes remaining closed or fluttering open, yogi's choice. Taking one last moment to check in on any final areas of tension, but also areas of release. Reflecting on how that meditation may have felt for you. How when we bring our attention to the breath and invite this additional aspect of physical touch, it can be extremely grounding, extremely centering, and allows our mind to have something to focus on when it starts to wander, by inviting an additional sense into our meditation. When you're ready, hands come together like we're clapping and thumbs reach in between the eyebrows. Taking a moment to set the gentle intention of kind thoughts for ourselves and others. Bringing thumbs to the lips to set the gentle intention of kind words for ourselves and others. And finally, bringing hands to the heart space to set the gentle intention of kind actions for ourselves and others. I thank you all so much for joining me today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.